Well, it is June, and June is a very tough month for me. Two major events happened in my life that changed me forever. On June 10th, 2000, my daughter, Elizabeth, was kidnapped from us by her birth mother. And because we had not gone to court yet for adoption, we lost her. She was my miracle child. I couldn't have children. So when this young pregnant woman came to us, telling us she didn't want her baby, we gladly took Elizabeth in. And after 10 months, she decided that she wanted her. And unfortunately, we let them take her. Not me, Dave let them take her from our house for day trips. They took her to his family's house, where his mother fell in love with Elizabeth and told them that she belonged with them. So that's what happened there, and that was a traumatizing event that happened. I've never gotten over it. I will never get over it. I've done my best to keep up with her over the years. Just checking out, people's Facebook pages, and I'm pretty sure she's doing okay. But she doesn't know about us. She never will, which is a shame because we gave her a wonderful first 10 months of her life. And that's that. And then on June 19th is going to be, how many years? Today's 2026 minus 2013 equals. So it'll be 13 years this year. My husband passed away on June 19th. He was a diabetic. He did not take care of himself. He refused to take care of himself. And he wound up with the flu. And also, there was a 90% chance that he had cancer in his liver because of excessive drinking over 30 years. But eventually what took him was pneumonia, because I had taken him to the doctor. Doctor refused to listen to his chest, and at that point it was just a cold, and then it turned into pneumonia, and then it turned into sepsis. Sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? Kyle Busch, the NASCAR driver, died the same way. So it was a lot longer. He was in ICU for 30 days, was put under sedation, came out of sedation briefly, but then put back on sedation. He was under sedation for like 45 days. And just trying, to get him better. Putting so many fluids into him, antibiotics and all that kind of stuff. And so he was switched from one hospital to another. And in the second hospital, he finally woke up 45 days later. But he still wasn't well because they were still having to suction out his lungs every day. Okay. So he always had this pneumonia. And he had a fever on the day that they decided he was going to go to a rehab place, which actually really wasn't. I was lied to about that. That was actually a nursing home for long-term care. I was kept out of the loop so much about Dave's care. It was ridiculous, and I was his power of attorney. So they transferred him when he had 100-degree fever. Or was it 101? 101-degree fever. They still made him leave the hospital. And for insurance reasons, if you're not sick after 30 days, they have to transfer you. But he was still sick. He had a fever. And so on the way to the hospital, he coded 3 times. The rehab. He coded 3 times. Took him to the rehab. He lasted about 4 days until he passed away. Because this facility had no idea how to flush out the fluid from his lungs. So it just built up and built up and built up, and eventually he had a stroke. And I knew something was wrong when I came in that one night because his hand was shaking and he wasn't responding to me. And I knew, from being a medical transcriptionist and secretary my entire career, I knew something was wrong, and I feared he had had a stroke. And he did. So he went from the nursing home to another hospital where he was diagnosed that he'd had a stroke. He had a severe brain bleed. So they transferred him over to another bigger hospital where, they tried. I really don't know what they were doing at that hospital because at that point he was brain dead. But they still put him under. They still tried to do whatever they were doing with him. I don't know. But after 10 days over there, which to me was kind of crazy, a doctor came in with his students and blatantly said, well, he's not breathing. We're taking him off the machine at 10 o'clock. So abrupt, no bedside manner. And they just, took him off the machine. And about 15 minutes later, he was gone. So, yeah, 2 major events in June. And, it's been a long time. It's been 26 years for Elizabeth, 13 for Dave. And, I'm better about it, but it's still, it's always going to hurt. Anybody who's lost their husband or children, that grief and that hurt never goes away. It subsides a bit over the years, and you just deal with it a little bit better, but it's always there. And as far as my baby, I still have her pictures everywhere, and I will always love her, even though she doesn't know me. I knew her for 10 months, and she was the light of my life. So, thank God I have Louis Capaldi now, Keith Urban in the past. Their music has gotten me through a lot. Mostly Keith. Keith got me through Elizabeth's kidnapping, and he got me through Dave's passing. I actually went to a Keith Urban concert only a month after Dave passed away because I was grieving and I needed something to bring me out of it. So I drove to, where was I? I lived in Sevierville. And I think I drove to North Carolina to see him. And Little Big Town was with him. And that was such a great show. And, he goes up into the crowd all the time with his guitar. And he goes into one of the rows and he sings and he gets the guitar. And he was literally almost right next to me. So that was the first encounter I had with Keith. A couple of years later, he did it again at another concert. And then I finally met him in, when did I meet him? I don't remember. Let's see. I want to say 2014. I went to his concert in Birmingham, Alabama, and I won a meet and greet with him. So I've got that meet and greet picture up there. And it was brief, so I didn't really get to talk to him at all, but just being next to him was amazing. So thank you to Keith Urban and now Louis Capaldi for bringing such joy into my life. And also my YouTube family has helped me through so much. I started my YouTube channel back in 2018 here in Vermont. I moved here in 2018, and over the years, I have made friends that I still keep in touch with from then. And of course, my most beloved friend is Shimmersol. She's a sweet girl. She has singing streams all the time, and it just got me through a lot, and we're still doing it to this day. So Shimmersol, Mr. B, now Bruce, there's a couple of people that I really, really enjoy being with on these YouTube live streams, and everybody got me through a lot of hard stuff, because even when I got here, it was pretty hard. So I love my YouTube family, and thank you all for being there and making my life so much happier. I love y'all. Take care. Bye.